Yo, what's going on, guys? Today,
we're going to be talking about the past, present, and future of Clash Royale. We're going to start off with the past of Clash Royale. We're going to be talking just briefly about the important topics in the game throughout like 2016 to 2022. To start off with, Ryley, what is your history in Clash Royale?
I started the game in 2019. I know it might come off as a surprise to a lot of people watching because, I do know people that understand that I'm usually competing for number one in the world every season, even though I haven't ever actually got that.
Yeah,
but
I can't relate.
I know most people in my ranges have been playing the game since the game came out, but I'm kind of unique, and I started in 2019, where a lot of the players started in 2016, 2017, coming from Clash of Clans, but
yeah,
I was just trying to become better than all of my friends at school, and I guess I obviously ended up achieving that, but I don't really have a crazy history on the game. I did get much better, much faster because I just played all day and didn't have a life because I was really young, and then COVID happened. And once COVID happened is when I really started getting better. And I feel like that's when most people started getting better because they had all this free time in the world. And it was pretty nice, just getting to play Clash Royale all day. But then I kind of figured out that I was getting better, and then I just to make YouTube videos on the game.
Yeah, how did you get into YouTube?
Well, actually, all of my friends, told me to start a YouTube channel, Best in A. I know you know him. Gems, Chakra. I guess all the Expo players told me to start YouTube. And then I saw you start a channel as well, but I don't really remember you telling me to start. It was just kind of common knowledge that everyone was telling me I should start, but it was mainly Best in A telling me that I should start YouTube, and Gems. Gems, Best in A, and Chakra, all the Expo YouTubers were just not really telling me. They were actually begging to start a YouTube channel for whatever reason. And I started it, and it kind of took off extremely quickly. I hesitated and I procrastinated for a long time, but then I'm okay, fine, I'll do it, see what happens, and it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, I feel like it was really good because at the time I don't think there were any big log bait YouTubers. I think there was Kid, but I'm pretty sure he quit YouTube already a very long time ago. And yeah, for me, I was hesitating quite a bit to go into YouTube. I don't know if you saw, but I made I think one or two, maybe even 3 videos in 2020 or 2021, something like that, around when COVID hit. But I just never really got into it too much because I thought there were just way too many other Clash Royale YouTubers. They were all the people you listed, and pretty much just everyone doing similar content. But then eventually, I think in let's see, probably near the end of 2021, I was just uploading some videos, not really getting too many views or anything like that. But then the 20-win challenge came around, and then I went 20-0 on both of my accounts. I made a video on that, and then got a core. I remember I was at church. I was at church, and then I was just looking at my analytics with my friends, and then we saw that randomly my video jumped all the way to 250,000 views after being pretty low to start with. So yeah, that's pretty much my YouTube journey. And I guess I can talk a bit about my own history in Clash Royale. So I started playing in September 2016. My brother introduced me to the game. Man, he's so much worse than me now, but he used to be quite a bit better than me. I think the account I started with was my brother's account, so I was already level 8, and I was in, I don't know, Spell Valley or something like that, and I just kept on losing. So my goal in Clash Royale was to be just a over-leveled menace. I was planning to just keep on battling just to get chests, then I wouldn't play pretty much besides that at all. But then I think in early 2017, I was I just had a personal account. I don't know how many trophies I had, maybe 4,000 or something like that, back when that was not too bad. And then I joined this esports clan, and then I was playing these in-game tournaments when you could get cards out of in-game tournaments, and I was pretty much winning everyone, which really helped me to level up my account. And then some guy noticed me, and then he was helping me to just get to the next stage or something in my career. Then eventually I started pushing way higher, and I don't think I was doing too well to start with. I probably got I don't know, I got maybe a few top 1000 finishes in 2017. Then I think I don't remember exactly, but maybe 2018 or something like that, April 2018, when Executioner was super broken, I eventually got a top 200 with my first top 200 with Executioner, Minor Balloon. Man, I missed that meta so much, though. That meta was so fun with Executioner. Did you play in the Executioner meta, or were you not even around at that time, Ryley?
Are you speaking about the Executioner meta where like 2019 or?
No,
Oh,
2018.
in the 2019. No, if it was 2018, I didn't play, but there was another Executioner meta. It was extremely strong when Elixir
Oh,
Golem
yeah.
came out. Like
Oh,
Elixir Golem and the Witch was extremely broken, so I played during that time, and the Witch was extremely broken, so people started even running like Executioner NATO Expo or Exi NATO Miner, like obviously Exi NATO
yeah.
Balloon. Every single deck had a Exi NATO in it.
Yeah, man, I
So
missed
I
that
played for
meta.
some Exi NATO meta.
Yeah, it was so toxic.
I didn't like that meta. Elixir Golem every single time. Like people are even playing like Elixir Golem Sparky and stuff like that because Elixir Golem had just came out and
Yeah.
obviously it's received a bunch of nerfs and a bunch of buffs, but even where it's at now, you could maybe even say it was 2, 3, 4, 5 times better. It was not like a clear best card in the game. Everyone was playing it and you just couldn't stop it. It was crazy.
It was so... I really liked the broken Executioner, though. I just remember it could, like, two-shot a baby dragon, I think, and stuff like that. It was so fun to play Hog Executioner, too. It was basically unbeatable. But, yeah, that was definitely a toxic time. I do have to say one thing about the past of CR. I kind of feel like the meta back then was more interesting, because it seemed like... I don't know, if you think about, like, the past of CR, there were, like, a lot of crazy broken cards, like... But they were kind of... I mean, they were toxic, but they were also kind of fun. Like, I don't know, for me, the Executioner was so fun being broken, and, like, I don't even know all the other cards off the top of my head, but it was also pretty fun when Logbait was broken, to be honest. I don't know if you know, or I guess you don't know since you started playing later, but I think, like, in 2017, Logbait was pretty much the '1 deck throughout the year. Even with Tornado, the Logbait Tornado deck was super good. So that was pretty fun, but I feel like ever since, I don't know, maybe 2020, maybe 2021 or something, it's pretty much just all been like cycle decks at the very top, and honestly pretty much all Miner cycle decks. I feel like Miner has been kind of warping the top ladder meta for the last few years. What do you think about like the meta throughout the years?
Honestly, I feel like back in the day, like obviously I didn't play, but I do know a lot of things. I feel like in 2016, I feel like the meta was just kind of like dominated by like what you had, not really what you knew, because nobody knew anything about the game. The game had just come out, so
And
people
also
didn't really know
levels.
anything and know much. Levels as well. People
Yeah.
didn't really know anything about the game. Like I know back then they would just fireball your tower just for fun. Like they
Yeah.
had no idea what they were doing. So I feel like the game was just like you pick a deck and you just play that, and then you maybe lose, maybe try out a new deck. But there wasn't like set metas, there wasn't set decks, and all stuff like that. So
Yeah.
I feel like the game, like, not did it get like less creative. I feel like it just got like, well, technically in a way it did get less creative, but I feel like that the game got more advanced and more developed, and people realized like, hey, these cards suck.
Yeah.
They found new strategies on how to defend and how to attack, and some cards just don't really fit into that criteria unless they got like a crazy buff, or like there was like a random meta that card ended up doing pretty well against. So I feel like over the years, the meta has definitely got like more favorable for specific cards and less favorable for other cards. But I feel like it's less of like because of specific cards and more of like just like the meta and how effective some cards are at like the top level. Like for example, Miner. Like when players are so good on defense, obviously the Miner, a guaranteed way to get damage, is going to be so strong because people are so good at playing defense.
Yeah, I feel like the meta has started to not really shift nearly as much as before, because I remember before, like, sometimes the meta could completely change from a few things, but, I mean, nowadays there's a lot of broken cards for sure, like Evo Knight and, like, Phoenix. I mean, I guess, like, Phoenix kind of changed the meta, but it was just a rare exception of being, like, a super broken card, but, like, in general, it seems like the new broken cards, they don't really change the meta much. They just like maybe would change like a card or two in a deck, or just make a couple new decks really popular, but I haven't really seen completely different metas. And we can also talk about a few other things here that I wanted to mention. Like, have you seen any of the Clash Royale esports, like, or did you see the Clash Royale esports like way back in the day, like between like 2016 and like maybe 2020?
No, I definitely did. I remember quite well, like the Surgical Goblin Kings Cup, like where he won versus Itachi with Logbait NATO against Lava Loon Arrows, and they had like the Goblin Gang in there. Like I have a really good memory, so I remember that matchup quite well. Like it was a 1-to-1 tower situation, and he ended up winning pretty like nicely. I'm pretty sure Attachant had like a Dark Goblin in there as well. It was a pretty strange Lava Hound deck, and Vertical Goblin had Bait Nado. And that's partially the reason why I actually run Logbait today, is because I would always see him playing it, and I saw that performance, and I'm like, I figured out that now like they ran Inferno Tower. So when I started the game, like I've just always pretty much played Bait, and I saw like a few more competitions.
Dude, I also started playing Logbait NATO because of that. Like I was like in, I don't know, I think like 2018, I was just like, maybe 2019, no, probably 2018, I was like grinding Bait NATO, even maybe like the end of 2017 or something when I saw that performance. And dude, it was so broken back then. Like I remember pretty vividly, like in I think a 20-win challenge or something like that, maybe in 2018, I was playing Logbait Tornado and I faced like a Golem pump deck with Log and Arrows, and I thought it was like the hardest possible counter ever to Logbait, because I had no Inferno Tower, keep in mind. I only had Tornado, but I still just destroyed them, and it was just so fun because I feel like Logbait was pretty much unbeatable if you played perfectly back then. And also for me, I mean, I don't know if I was like watching CR esports too much, but definitely I remember back in the day, I think in like CCGS and like 2017 and stuff, I remember seeing like players like All Crap and stuff like that. I remember I was a pretty big fan of him, and yeah, I don't know if I remember like every little thing, but I definitely watched CR esports, and also in 2018 and stuff like that. It was honestly really cool how they had like the teams and everything. I do kind of like the format nowadays still a little bit, like just being able to rely on yourself instead of having to rely on a team, but it was honestly also so fun and like such a good experience to be on a team together. How do you feel about CRL right now? Like how do you feel with solo mode compared to team mode?
I feel like it's in a pretty good position in the like terms of like you play for yourself, you fend for yourself, so like everyone gets an equal opportunity and a fair shot. Because back when there was teams, there may have been a player who was deserving and he didn't get an invitation because there's these specific players who I won't name drop unless people ask me in the comments, and maybe next time I'll name drop them. But there was quite a few undeserved players every set of CRL that were just, honestly, I'm just going to be honest, they were terrible at the game. They didn't really deserve to be in there whatsoever over a lot of players, and there was a lot of talent. And it's not a surprise that we see like the biggest talents in the solo format, and a lot of people, you call them washed and say they fell off, but I really think they were just never that good in the first place. They just, like, nobody else got a chance to compete. There would always be like the same like 20, 25 players locked in, only leaving like a few spots for new talent. And it was so hard to prove new talent back then because of how little tournaments there was, because every tournament was a team mode. Like if you didn't have a team, you weren't on a team. How were you even supposed to prove yourself? The only way was to have like one of like the players or like a manager of the team find you and pick you out somehow. Like it was just like some crazy luck-based process, unless maybe you do some crazy thing on ladder, but you're probably just gonna get called a one trick anyway. So it's kind of like impossible to compete if you weren't like already known in the game and started from the jump. It's kind of impossible to like get known and get a team. So I feel like being solo is extremely nice, especially for like a person like me as well, kind of personal bias, but I don't really care to talk with a bunch of people for a team. I kind of just like hopping on, playing some games, relying on myself, and just like having fun on my own. And I feel like it just builds like a greater experience. But I feel like as well, if teams were like created by the players instead of by like organizations, obviously that would never happen. Maybe it could be nice as well, just because I feel like it's kind of weird that, like, obviously sure the teams get to pick, but I feel like it kind of ruined the experience. So I feel like it's definitely better to be solo. It's all for the better.
Yeah, I agree with you for sure. Because I feel like with the team format, it was so hard to, even myself, like I think I wasn't old enough to even join a team because you had to be 16. I'm 19 now, but I was like back in like 2020 or like maybe like early 2020 or before that, like I was kind of feeling like maybe I would want to join a CRL team. I wasn't even on the level yet, but I had like a dream to join a CRL team or something like that. But yeah, it was so hard to get in. I think maybe I would have got on a team if they continued doing teams, but yeah, I feel like it's definitely better the way it is now, even though it's maybe a little bit less fun, at least for the viewers especially, but we still do have a few team tournaments sometimes. And yeah, in the team tournaments, it was mainly about connections, because I know a lot of players just were on teams that were just friends with each other, even though it didn't really make sense to have certain people on the team. And also another way that I think some people got invited to teams was if they did really well in tournaments, like in-game tournaments, especially back in the day. I don't know how much it happened later on, but especially probably like in maybe 2017, I feel like there may have been a few players that probably got recruited from in-game tournaments. Do you know anything about in-game tournaments back in the day?
I just know back then from watching old YouTube videos that you would get like 250,000 cards from one chest. You had to spend, I wouldn't even say your whole bank account. You would have to take out like a mortgage out on your house to be able to buy one of those tournaments.
Yeah, dude, it
And you would
was
get
so
like a
cool.
250,000 gem tournament, and you got like 10,000 plus cards. Like I don't even know if it was 10,000. Maybe it was more than 10,000. You get like 10 legendaries, like 1,000 epics. Like it was just ridiculous if you won one of those things, man. I do remember hearing about those.
Yeah.
There was just like so many cool things.
I'd love if they brought those tournaments back, to be honest. I mean, I don't know if they need those big tournaments, but at least something to bring some hype back to in-game tournaments, because that would be so fun to, you know, like make YouTube videos utilizing like a revamped tournament system, or like even like doing some live streams about it or something like that could be so fun if they added something interesting to in-game tournaments. And man, I will say, I would love if they tried to add like 2v2 or something to tournaments. That would be so fun. I mean, I guess I'm hopping a bit ahead of myself here and more into the future, but yeah, that would be really interesting.
Yeah, it would be really nice if they like had some nice different kind of tournaments, because I feel like what they did with the whole tournaments thing, like even like regular tournaments or like global tournaments, just every kind of tournament they've ever had was kind of like a step in the negative direction. I don't really understand why they did that. They kind of just sucked away all like fun away from tournaments. Like I remember they have this like stat on your profile called tournament cards won, and I don't like I don't have a single one. Like it just looks so like bland. It's like 0 cards,
Yeah.
1 0 played. Like it just looks so strange because like I'm like a top player, like I've never played in a tournament. It just looks so strange, and I feel like it's just kind of like a waste of an opportunity. Maybe even like a waste of like a slot. Like maybe just like wasted potential. You could even call it like all the tournaments are for in game anymore. Like I remember back in the day, 2019, I would join these tournaments like maybe to play a deck that I didn't have maxed and wanted to play like in a challenge without spending my gems on some challenges. I would go in a random challenge tournament. Like not like the ones with a bunch of cards to win, of course, but like just for like I guess bragging rights. I guess
Yeah.
I would just go in and play them. Or like even if you wanted to farm up your Pass Royale, I remember when the Pass Royale first came out, you were able to farm your Pass Royale in the challenges, and you'd go around like trading 3 rounds with people and stuff like that. It was actually like really cool. But nowadays, like I never like even think about that kind of thing. Like sometimes I forget where the tournament tab is because they changed everything around and configured it weird. Which I feel like it's part of the reason why global tournaments and in-game tournaments like are so much less popular now, because you're not even on the home screen. You have to go through like a whole loop and a maze to find it.
And man, also one other thing I do wanna talk about before we move on to the present of Clash Royale. I do also want to talk about the crown chest. I don't know if you. I think it might have been before your time, but there was a thing called a crown chest where you would be in a clan, and then your clan would have like a crown chest, and you guys would all need to get crowns together to get like the max.
Clan chest, right?
Yeah,
the clan chest.
Yeah, to get the max level chest, you guys would need to get like a certain number of crowns. Do you know anything about it? Were you there at that time?
I do know a bit about that, because before I got the game, my friends played the game, and like obviously my friends at school are the reason I did end up getting the game in the first place. And they would like always talk about their clan chest and their or like crown chest for like a long time, like trying to like make everyone get a good amount of crowns, because like if not everyone contributed and didn't contribute a lot, then you would never like max it out and complete it. Because I remember, if I remember correctly, you would have like certain levels, like 1 through 10 maybe.
Yeah,
and you
want
to max it out to get the best rewards possible, and you would always like amp up your clan to do that, and your clan would have like these really nice rewards and stuff, and it was just kind of more incentive to like play the game, work as a team, get rewards, and just like actually build a clan and have a clan. But nowadays there's not really any reason for somebody to have a clan, to be honest.
Yeah, I feel like it kind of just downgraded after that. After that, I think they kind of like replaced it with clan wars and stuff like that, and I don't even think we have to go too in depth on clan wars, because pretty much everybody already knows that clan wars was a pretty big failure. I don't know how many times they revamped it, probably like at least once or twice, but yeah, even like some of my school friends who are low level, they do play clan wars, but a lot of them don't even play clan wars. Even players who like need the resources, I feel like they just don't think it's worth their time. And also the problem is, like, even though a few players need like those clan wars rewards, just like a lot of clans are like filled with a lot of players who don't need it, so it's kind of hard for the players who do need it to actually get anything good if their clanmates aren't also helping in the war. What do you think about clan wars?
I don't really like the clan wars. I really enjoyed it at first back in 2019. I joined this clan called 10 Fun Pekkas. I joined it with not a clan leader, but a co-leader called Leroy Jenkins, and he was always on me to play my clan war. And if he didn't play clan war, you would get kicked out of the clan. So I was always making sure to play my clan war attacks every day. And there was a way different system back then. You would play like these things called the collection day battles. You would play four of them, and after that, like your clan would collect cards together. You would collect like a total of 40 cards, try to max up their levels and upgrade them.
Basically.
And the next day you would play your war attack, and you'd have one game, and the entire clan would play one game, and each win you would get a point, and it would be a medal, and whoever had the most medals at the end of like I think it was a few days you had to play would win. And I thought it was much more fun than the current system because you had something to do every single day. You were always like collecting stuff, doing stuff, contributing as your clan together. And then like on the day, I remember you get like a difference between 40 cards. You got to make your own deck, and everyone would share a deck. Like, hey, what's the best deck with these cards in these levels? This deck, that deck. Like you would play this, play that. It was like a lot of fun, really active in the clan. And I had a lot of fun when I was like more casual, I guess, in 2019. And even like, I guess up until like they revamped it nearly like, I guess up until I left 10 Ton Pekkas is when I stopped really caring about war. And when I left, I wasn't really like a casual anymore. I was kind of like playing like way too much to consider myself a casual. Maybe I was like a FX player who played quite a lot, but was bad at the game, not really that good.
I feel like it actually seems more like they downgraded Clan Wars. Like even in those updates, it seems like they actually made it worse. Because now that you mentioned that, I kind of just started remembering all of that stuff from Clan Wars. Like it seemed like even though Clan Wars still wasn't really good at that time, it was still a little bit more interactive. And I feel like Clash Royale is missing like some feature where you have to actually like interact with your clan and stuff like that. Because I know in my clan, I mean, people do talk a bit and stuff like that, but it's not really the same. Like I mean, I wouldn't really say Clash Royale ever really had a very good interactive feature, but at least they had like some things like you mentioned there that you have to kind of like figure out stuff with your clan. But yeah, nowadays I think a lot of clans are pretty much dead at this point. And I guess now we can just move on to the present state of Clash Royale. So to start off with, we're going to kind of talk about some of the newer things that were introduced in the game, like champions and different things like that. Champions were released actually pretty recently. It feels like they've been in the game for a while, but it hasn't been too long. They were released in 2022. I feel like they definitely added some new strategy to Clash Royale. I'm not sure if I love them too much. I don't know. It's just like a weird concept to me. I don't really notice them too much even anymore, to be honest with you. Like ever since Evos have came out, I don't even notice that champions are like above a average card or like better than a normal card. I mean, I'm not really sure if they're supposed to be better than a normal card, but they don't really feel too special anymore ever since Evolutions. Ryley, what do you think about champions?
Honestly, I really like the first introduction of champions, other than them having a few glitches and being completely better than everything, because I kind of get really frustrated and mad, as I guess everybody knows, when something is crazy unfair and crazy broken. But I feel like overall it really ends up being great for the game. I do like Evolutions as well. Champions are really nice though. I mean, I do like all of the champions that they've added, except the monk. I feel like the monk is just a card and really
Dude, I agree with you.
I do not like the concept at all, but everything else is really cool and really fun.
Yeah.
I am glad that they're doing a better job balancing them. Obviously, some champions are still broken, like the Archer Queen and the Skeleton King. But other than that, I think the champions are in like a really balanced state, the most balanced they've ever been, ever. That's for sure. And I think they're finally doing a good job. Now the Evos are coming into the game, balancing the champions well. They've already got their paycheck, so I guess I'm pretty happy about the champions where they're at. But I do wish they wouldn't have stopped releasing the champions out of nowhere. They kind of just released like 3 at once, and then 2 different champions, and they've never really like released a new one. It would be kind of nice if they could have like they kept on giving us new champions, but I guess it's not the end of the world.
Yeah, man, champions used to be so broken. Like, I'm pretty sure you probably remember, like, for the Archer Queen, when it was first released, it used to not even be able to be pulled by a tornado, and I don't know what other weird interactions it had, but I know for a fact that it had, like, probably 20 million glitches, and everyone was playing Archer Queen Royal Hogs cycle. But yeah, now champions seem pretty balanced. I don't even know if Archer Queen is like super good right now, just because everyone's like playing different stuff, like mainly just focusing on Evo Knight and everything like that instead of champions as much. But yeah, they're in a pretty balanced state right now, I feel like. And for Evos, they just came out kind of recently. It seems like, I mean, they're pretty good. They're obviously really OP and stuff like that, but the one weird thing for me is that ever since they started releasing Evolutions, they haven't been releasing like new champions, as you said, or like new cards or something like that. So even though it's cool to have a new Evo every month, I hope they don't like stop making new cards and stuff like that and just releasing Evos instead for a long time, because that would be kind of kind of sad not to get new stuff, because it seems like at this rate I think it's going to take, I don't know, like 8 years or like a decade, maybe a bit less than a decade, but something like that, to get every card with an evolution. What do you think about like evolutions, and what do you think about like the state of them and stuff like that?
I think evolutions are really cool. My favorite part about evolutions is, I was kind of saying this, like, I've said this a bunch of times before, to be honest. I really enjoy how evolutions are so good to the point where they make literally everything viable, kind of tying back into about like 2016, 2017, every deck being viable and out in the meta. It's really cool, like, to see that like everything is getting a turn to be played, and it's not only a cycle orientated and cycle dominated meta for the first time in quite a while now. You see majority of the top 10 was actually beat down, and all of the good ladder finishers, other than like I guess just like nobody in the top 5, I guess, except Remieli was playing beatdown. So I mean, playing cycle. So it was pretty interesting. I like how the Evo Knight, the Evo Barbs, and the Royal Recruits are so good and so ahead of everything else that they make every deck viable. That part of it's nice. It's not fun when it's only one kind of deck. It's really annoying, but I mean, at the end of the day, like, I feel like it's making the game much more enjoyable. I know they do need to keep toning them down and stuff, but if they continue at the pace of where they're at right now, I feel like they'll be really beneficial for the game and their content for years to come, and really, really nice. I do think that they need to release more at once, just because I feel like it shakes up the game a little bit more. It's more fun, and it will take forever to get to all the Evos, and not everyone has common card Evos. Like, uses common cards, or like has many common card Evos, just kind of things like that.
Dude, I have one question to ask you though. If they release like, I kind of agree with you that it would be nice if they released multiple Evos at once. But if they released multiple Evos at once, like you see how broken Evo Knight is. So I wonder, like, if they released multiple at once, they'd have like even less time to test it. I wonder if they just release something that's even better than Phoenix or something like that. Like, how do you think it would be for like CRL, for example? Do you think it would still be fine, like even if they released multiple Evos, or would that kind of just mess up the balance?
I think it would be not the end of the world, just because the fact that you do have 1 month to prepare. Maybe like they could move the CRL month, like maybe release the Evos like right after, or like ban the new Evos for the first month, like for like the first CRL of it, because when the new cards, they always get added right after the season ends, so you only have about 6 days to prepare for the new Evos, because obviously the new balance change is set in on Tuesday every time, so they only have about 6 days to prepare for a meta chip. So maybe it would be good if they just like added them in, or like they added them in right away, but only make them available for the monthly final. And then obviously the next CRL to come, because you would have more time to play with them, practice them, because there would be 4 at once, not only 1. And I would make it a lot more enjoyable as a spectator, because you know every single month there's going to be 4 new cards, like 4 brand new types of cards. Because let's be honest, an Evo card is like a literally a brand new card every single time. It's not even close to the same, and I think it's quite enjoyable, quite fun to watch, and I do feel like it's pretty nice for just the content point of things. It'd be really nice.
Yeah, and we could also kind of talk about the present state of Clash Royale. For me, I don't know, I feel pretty chill about Clash Royale. I mean, I play it, just about every day for YouTube videos mainly. I do play it a bit sometimes, even when I'm not making videos, but I do mainly play for videos. It's usually pretty enjoyable. I mean, sometimes I get triggered by stuff like a Magic Archer and stuff like that, when it takes half my tower first play, when they go for like a ghost in the back, and then I Knight, then they Magic Archer, they take half my tower, and I lose an easy matchup from that. But hey, Magic Archer's not that good anymore after the nerf, so at least I don't have to deal with that anymore. But I mean, CR is in an okay state for me. I enjoy the game, and Evos are definitely something pretty nice. It's kind of nice, like how sometimes, even if it feels like one meta is difficult for me to like maybe push to the top, like maybe if Hoggy Q's weak during a certain meta, it feels like after the Evos, like Evos each season, it just completely shifts how the meta is. So even if I'm doing bad 1 month, I know I can easily come back next month. So what do you think about the current state of the game?
I feel like the current state of the game obviously is going to be a little bit biased, because my top 3 and number 1 most hated cards in the game are some of the best, being the Mother Witch and the Royal Recruits, and the Royal Recruits did get an evolution. So I am a little bit frustrated with the game, and I want to like do something to somebody, like something tragic, but cut that out. But anyways, I really like that the Evos are like, I really like the state of the game and how the Evos are transforming the state of the game, just because it's making everything different, and I feel like the better players kind of get the advantage. They are the ones who adapt quicker. Obviously, certain people who play certain cards in certain decks will get a crazy advantage just because of the fact that they're like, they main it, they've been using it, or like a specific deck gets an E when you play a specific deck, but everyone will have their turn with Evos, which is nice. And I feel like with the Evos being out, you're never out of a deck as long as you're like, have some cards nice. You can put the Evo in, but the only problem I do have with the Evos, or I guess one of the few problems, obviously balance that I've already discussed, but I think another huge problem behind Evos is the paywall, which I've branched out and spoken about so many times that some people, they're not as fortunate as me and just not going to buy the Evo every single time. So like sometimes I guess if your Evo gets nerfed, it's completely torched and you have to buy it, or you can get one free Evo every half a year. So like some people are still hustling to get their second Evo. So like I feel like really bad for people like that who can't just buy it, because not everyone can allocate $20 or even like want to spend that amount of money for just one card evolution, knowing that the next season they might get a better one, they might get one they like more, or like they might get nerfed right away. Because really, when you nerf your Evos, you're kind of just playing with their money, I feel like, and I kind of feel bad.
Yeah, it's so hard to get an Evo as a free to play player. I mean, I think you can get like one shard a month in the season token shop, and maybe there are some other ways, maybe like in the challenges or something like that, but I'm not even sure about that. So yeah, as a free to play, it's nearly impossible to really get many Evos. And yeah, the balance is, I mean, like Evos are getting balanced really quickly, so if you unlock a good Evo, it's very likely to get nerfed right after, and that probably has happened to a lot of free to play players, and it just takes them so long to get another. I feel like the Evos definitely add something new to the game, but I feel like Supercell has to kind of decide on where they want to go with it. And also, one other thing I do want to talk about for Evos is that I feel like they've been adding Evos mostly to pretty good cards. I mean, like I guess Barbarians, for example, aren't that good. Maybe a couple other cards aren't that good without Evos, but I would definitely like it if they added Evos to less good cards, because I know you said like Evos are kind of like a whole new card, but I feel like it would be like even a lot better if they added it to like a dead card. Then it could just completely come back in the meta, and it would feel like a new card was added even if they didn't actually add a new card. So I feel like that would definitely be something pretty interesting. And also, another thing I do want to touch on a little bit is Clash Royale content right now, just content creation in general. For me, I feel like there's definitely some content to make, but I feel like the content isn't super diverse right now. I wish there were like a few more things to make content on, maybe if they did a few things with the game. I mean, the Q4 update should be here in a little while, so that will be interesting to see if they like fix some things or add some new things. But yeah, there's not like a crazy amount of stuff to make content on. You can definitely be creative and find some new ways to make videos and things like that, but a lot of Clash Royale videos are just like best decks or just like showing different decks. That's really the only factor that seems to be changing very much, instead of just like showing something new. What do you think about Clash Royale content right now?
I mean, I love making videos. I have a lot of fun making videos, but one thing I do find quite repetitive, I guess, is that it's kind of like they don't give you many opportunities to make new content. You kind of have to come up with it on your own. You have to like do everything. Like, not that like I'm begging them to like make my content for me. It's more of the fact that give me stuff to post about. Like, other than like, obviously, like I love playing top ladder. Like I love being at a high rank. I love playing for a high rank, trying to do better, trying to improve, helping other people improve their ranks, get better, you know, and get higher and get new personal bests and stuff like that. But at the same time, it would be pretty cool if like there was like new stuff to do videos on. Like I remember back in the day, remember those like tournament tabs, like you can make videos on tournaments, you can make videos on so many more things, when now I feel like you're kind of narrowed down to a very few specific topics. You're not really like having much room for content. Like obviously you have a lot of room to grow, but I feel like you don't have much room for different stuff. There's not much room for like changing up your style. You know, you're kind of hammered down to the same few spots, and every update they seem to be doing like an update to like a new card rarity, more so than like a genuine update of maybe like a new type of play, like tournaments, like global tournament. I remember that's probably the like clan war, like something like that. They kind of give you nothing. They kind of just like give you like new cards to to post on, which is fine, but I still feel like they need like a real core game update, like
for sure.
Maybe like something like related to like obviously not Clan Wars, because like I don't think the next update should be a branch of something else. It should be something entirely new, but like in the likes of like global tournaments or like Clan War, like something entirely new that we've never seen before, that maybe you could make videos on, get more variety and more content and stuff like that.
Yeah, bro, if they added a 2v2 global tournament and we played it together, everyone else would be finished. Their career would be over. That would be so fun, man. Imagine a video on that. Yeah, and for content right now, I feel like the main thing that, I mean, obviously like a lot of random things can get high views if you get like the right stuff going for you, but I feel like right now the main Clash Royale thing that gets a lot of views is just like negative content on it, like not calling anyone out here, but or like dissing anyone or anything like that, but like I noticed for say B-Rad, for example, like his videos, they get very high views for sure in general, but when he made like one negative video, his views went from I think like 200 to maybe 400k at most, all the way up to like 1 million views. So it seems like people aren't really too interested in Clash Royale unless it's like something negative. So yeah, I don't know how to feel about that. I guess it's interesting for people to see what the YouTubers really think, because normally YouTubers don't always speak their full mind. But yeah, for me personally, I don't like to be too negative. I mean, it's good to give constructive criticism and stuff like that, but sometimes I know certain YouTubers definitely just act extra negative, because I mean the comments are always like praising people for being negative and speaking their mind, but sometimes it's not even them speaking their mind. Sometimes they're just being extra negative just to follow whatever the crowd is saying, what they know the comments want to hear and stuff like that. I guess that's pretty much it for the current section. Now we'll be moving on to the future of Clash Royale and what we want to see there. I mean, I feel like the Clash Royale team has showed that they can keep games healthy and alive for like a very long period of time, because even Clash of Clans, for example, made by Supercell as well, it's been popular for a very long time. I mean, I don't know if it's like super popular right now everywhere, but pretty much everyone still knows about Clash of Clans, and there's definitely quite a few people playing it and stuff like that. And even for Clash Royale, pretty much every month or every year or something like that, people are saying it's gonna die, but it's been pretty healthy for like 7 years now, probably more than 7 years by now. So yeah, I think the future of the game is definitely going to be pretty bright if the Supercell team puts in the effort. And some stuff I'd like to see is probably, I don't know, there's just like a lot of little quality of life things. Like I know a lot of people always say like some crazy things they want to see, but even just like some quality of life things would be pretty nice. Like maybe some small clan feature that the clans could work on together, maybe even replacing Clan Wars with something else. I don't even know what they would do exactly, but something like that, or maybe some different type of Clan Wars. Yeah, like of course 2v2 global tournaments would be so fun. Maybe even I kind of want, I know some people said they don't want to see AI in Clash Royale, like you know how the Clash of Clans thing has like the, I don't know what you call it, but just like that map or something like that where you face like bots or something like that, and you get some resources for it or something. I feel like that would be pretty fun for Clash Royale. I don't know, just like a little thing would be nice to make videos on and stuff like that. And I know they actually recently changed the trainers a little bit. Didn't really do too much. They just made it, I think, like a little bit harder maybe or something like that, or added something to it, I remember. But yeah, it shows that they can definitely make changes to stuff there if they want to. I do have a few more thoughts, but I'll pass it to you, Ryley. What do you want to see in the future?
I feel like the main thing that I've been thinking about in the future that would be really nice and really cool is that I feel like there should be more variety with the trainers. I feel like having like the trainers there, it's kind of iconic and maybe it should stay, but I would really think it would be cool if they made like, I guess, puzzles, like Clash Royale puzzles and simulations, and it would be really, really cool. And I guess it would kind of go with the previous season's chess theme as well. It would be, I feel like it would be extremely cool to like maybe like give you a set of cards, a bar of elixir, and give them a push, and you can keep practicing, and not even just practicing, but see like the most efficient way to defend. And they have like very clear cut like solves, like ways to solve. And if there's like somehow you could code it, like if there's an even better solve, and they make that the next best solve, and you try to like beat the best solve, and like, and you can see like who has the most accurate solving of that defense. And I think it would just be like a very cool thing. And maybe you can get like a reward for solving maybe like a few hundred gems, like if you solve like the challenge. Like maybe they give them like a like a lava loon push, and they give you like a certain amount of elixir in a certain hand, and if you defend it the best way possible, you get like a certain amount of gems. I feel like it'd be very cool, and maybe you can give like a bunch of those simulations, and they like do that automatically. I feel like it'd be very cool. There's a lot of content, stuff like that. Maybe there would be even like you could call it like, I guess, levels.
Yeah,
I guess something like that. It would be pretty cool and pretty fun.
it would be good content too.
I feel like it'd just be very cool because a lot of things matter, and like placements, timing, and stuff like that. I've been thinking about that for a while. It'd be like very cool, and maybe sometimes you can even set up your own scenarios. Like you could like kind of like let players build their own scenarios and give them to other people to try out. Compete with each other, and you could even like it would kind of be like a friendly scenario where like you're not really competing for anything, and it would just be like extremely fun. Where you kind of like give your friend a possibility. There are just like infinite ideas with that kind of thing. I would really much enjoy that. If I could pick something to add, it'd be something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and what do you think about adding new cards in the future? Like, what do you think about like that area of things? Do you think they should like focus on adding new champions, new evolutions, or new cards, or just like a combination of multiple stuff? What do you think in that area?
I'm glad you touched on that, because during the portion where we were talking about evolutions, I was saying like that I really want them, because I know you were saying that they like should release like the evolutions for bad cards because the good ones already have enough love and they already have youth. What I really want them to do is I want them to add a new card with a new evolution at the same time, because
That'd be cool.
of how much it would change things. Because not only would you have to learn the card, you'd have to learn the evolution. There'd just be so many like game changes and like strategies with it. So I definitely want to see new evolutions. I would like to see maybe like 1 or 2 new champions, like not every season like evolutions, but maybe like once in a while you see like a new champion, like a new rare, like kind of like release them how they do commons, epics, legendaries, and commons, just stuff like that. Like it would just be like it could like treat it as another rarity that needs love too, and then obviously just keep having the new Evos. But I would really like them to do a new card and a new Evo, and the new Evo being the new card. It would be so cool and so nice. I feel like it'd be unique, something they've never done before, and like a great learning experience for all the players, and maybe see if they can even pull off something like that.
Yeah, and as for Clash Royale in the future, I feel like gonna go based on how much effort the Clash Royale team is willing to put in it. Like I don't feel like Clash Royale is gonna really ever die. I mean, who knows? Maybe it could get stale in the future, but I feel like it's always gonna at least have a handful of people playing it, kind of like Clash of Clans, and sometimes it might have spikes in popularity, sometimes it might go down a bit. It could be good or bad, the future of Clash Royale, but it kind of just depends on all of that stuff and what the team decides to do with things. What do you think about just CR like in the very distant future? Do you think it's gonna continue to like prosper and stuff, or do you think it's gonna go downhill, and like what do they need to make it just stay popular and stay fun?
I feel like Supercell is really good at keeping the longevity of a game. As you said, like Clash of Clans has been around for like probably like I think it's around nearly like maybe 10 years now. Like that's kind of ridiculous when you think about it. 10 years for one game.
Or
you
more.
only see that with like some of the greats, like 10 plus years. Like only games that last 10 plus years are always like some of the greats, I guess you could call it, like Call of Duties, like League of Legends, CS:GO, stuff like that. Like the top tier games that have been around for literally ever since you were like just a little kid. And Supercell is managing that with Clash of Clans. They're running on that with Clash Royale. I think they're really good at planning for the longevity of a game. I don't think they just like let Clash Royale like continue in a downward spiral. To go up, sometimes you need to come down to have a greater uprise. So I feel like maybe that's what they're planning on right now. Sometimes you make mistakes, but I do think they know exactly what they need to do to have the game go up and up and up. And even if I think they know how to maintain, and if not maintain, still grow. So I think Clash Royale will be around for a very long time.
Yeah, and also I've noticed, so like I'm in this group chat now that I'm a tier 3 Supercell creator, where the creators can kind of like interact with the Supercell devs and stuff like that. And I've noticed that the Supercell team has been like pretty consistent with like responding to all the feedback from the YouTubers and stuff like that. And it seems like they're communicating pretty well and stuff like that, and making changes based on what they say. So yeah, I think if they continue like this, I think there's a good chance that something really good could come out of it. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much all I have to say about Clash Royale, just for the past, present, and future. Do you have any final points to add, Ryley?
Not really. I feel like we touched base on pretty much everything there is to talk about, like the state of Clash Royale. I guess we kind of like maybe we could have been a little bit more accurate on a few things, but I could never really been a little bit more accurate on stuff that I didn't exactly know about. That's why I kind of like talked a lot about the stuff that I do know about. And I feel like, not to like brag or anything, or like I don't know why anyone would think this is a brag, but maybe like I feel like I really know what I'm talking about, and maybe Clash Royale should open their ears or something like that. It would be kind of nice. And also make it give me a creator code as well, something like that, to help improve the state of the game.
Okay, Ryley, we have one last thing to do. We have to say thank you guys for watching and see you in the next one. Bye. So let's do it. 3, 2, 1. Thank you guys for watching. Bro, you didn't do it with me. We have to do it at the same time.
I did. And see you in the next one.
Okay, let's redo it.
Okay.
Okay, 3, 2, 1. Thank you guys for watching and see you in the next one. Bye.
I messed up.
Okay, I'm gonna leave that in.